Hello, hello. Welcome to another week of Creators Boardroom. Nice to see you, Victor, Michael. I'm in a different look. I'm like in a smaller little area, so it might be a little echoey. It's not good. Benjamin, Valerie, nice to see you guys. Staff. I don't want to kill the last name.
Yeah, it's Charlie, Tony. What's going on?
Oh, okay, yeah, because I couldn't really make out the background. So I'm like, how you doing?
Good.
So
How
you're
you
using
doing?
the staff
Yeah,
alias, huh?
yes. I was my so I didn't have a chance to change my name on there on the profile. Just this one. Yeah.
Okay,
hmm
no worries. Since I have you on mute, what win have you had since last week that you would want to share with us?
Yeah. We got a couple wins. The main thing is just getting the team together and getting everybody acclimated to the processes that we're doing and building our SOP for our little team to make sure that we have a certain standard of operations that we can follow. And so we're doing good with that, just, getting caught up to speed. So it's just, it's a win because, we're getting everything back together. So, it's just there. I mean, we've been there selling things before, just had a little lax period, but now we're back and getting things together. So we're just looking to move forward. That's it, really. That's the win.
Okay, cool. How big is your team?
Well, we got 7 people now.
Oh wow! And is
hmm
everybody focusing on like printing?
No, I have 2 on operations with me, and then 2 what I call the fulfillment. That's like working on the equipment, and then the rest are like graphic designers.
Oh, okay.
So we have our own in-house graphics team. So when somebody wants to, get things done, we can do that. I don't have to outsource that. So I have like 3 really good designers on there, and then the rest is just, making sure we handle orders the correct way, and if we need any type of fulfillment, we get that done, and just making sure that the 2 people running the equipment is adequate. They understand how to not just operate it, but clean it, maintenance and everything like that. So we're going to get everybody, up to speed on that.
Okay, that's really good to hear. That's exciting.
Yes, yes.
I know
Takes a lot.
you haven't reached out to me lately.
Right. Because, I started off as a ninjapreneur, just me, you know,
Yeah.
and just all over the place. And with my current job and trying to get the company up and learn it, Jackie and I, we just, on a roll. And then, we had, a little family situation that we had to take care of in business and stuff. But um, never let lost faith. Working with you, I had a really good outline of what we needed to do. You was really informative and laid out the plan for me because I gave you my vision. So that's what helped me stay the path, because even though I haven't talked to you in a while, I talked to you futuristically, down the line of time, because I knew I was coming into it. So you already set me up to be here where I'm at now. You put me in contact with Charles and everybody. So all the tools was there for me to utilize. It was really nothing for me to bother you with anymore until I get here.
Well, yeah. Well, that's good
Yes.
to hear that you. That's good to hear that you utilized, the conversation that we had, and you ran with it, and you're doing really good. What type of printing are you doing right now, mainly?
Well, just still the direct to garment, and we're trying to get everybody up to speed on the direct to film, on just using the transfer sheets with the powder and coming out shaking it and doing that. But you know, we have orders, a couple restaurant orders, baseball team orders and stuff like that. And once I get my website up and really going, then I'll be able to launch out to where I was telling you about, to the entertainment field that I'm part of. But until I get that wrapped up, because I don't want to get overloaded. I go out there and let everybody know we're there, then the orders are gonna come. And so that's what we're hoping for. That's what we're planning for.
Okay, well, that's really good to hear. I'm a phone call away if you need anything. So I appreciate
Oh
you
yeah,
sharing.
they're those cars about to ramp back up. Believe me.
Well, I'm here to help, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But thanks for sharing. Mr. Victor Rubio, you always have some good wins, some good stuff for us. Is there anything you would like to share with us?
Um, I just got off of a call for a repeat business customer, so I can be on this call with you. And he's gonna call me back at 3:15.
Well, I
No,
appreciate that.
it's been a crazy week. I just found out that two of my marathons are giving away my mug for free as a gift, which is awesome. So in July, the San Francisco Marathon, and then I believe the Berkeley one's in October. So that's good. And then I just got a 2,000 t-shirt order for a soccer tournament for Memorial Day. So that's already being printed right now. And then we're doing the call that was on right now is for an all-star team in the local San Diego, their baseball club. So they have about 7 teams that they have all-stars for. So we're gonna make a merch line for all of them, and then they're hosting a tournament. So I'm doing the merch line for that. And then they want to take my water bottle and they want to give each of the kids their own water bottle. So that's cool. I love it when the leagues want to buy stuff for their people, because then that's just an
Mhm.
easy sell.
No, that's really good. You have a lot of good stuff going on. And
Yeah, it all fell on me like in the last 2 days. So now I'm like stressing to get it done, but it'll get done. I'm pretty organized about it.
so you received that large order a couple days ago, and they really needed
I've known about it because I do it for
to
them
get
every
taken
year.
care of pretty fairly quickly.
I know about it because I do it for them every year, but they're like any organization, they think about it and they drag their heels and stuff like that. So 2,000 t-shirts by Memorial Day weekend, no problem. Like we'll get that done. And like I said, I have it printed here locally. It's just a screen printing job. I just, hand him the art, send him the shirts, and then he goes and delivers it for me at the location. And that's it. So it's those are the easy ones. I like those.
Yeah, for sure. 2,000 shirts. If they're running efficiently with their automatic, they can on the slow side do like 300. On the good side, they do like 600, 300, 600 an hour, just chugging along with the automatic.
Yeah,
They can
yeah.
literally bang out your job in one day on a good day.
Yeah, exactly. And he loves it. So I just do that, and he white label drops it for me, and everybody's happy, and then we'll do it again next year.
No, that's really good, and that kind of ties with what I wanted to talk about today. Is
Cool.
how to educate your customers with the process, the different expectations, the decoration methods, and so forth. And before we kind of jump into that, Mr. Michael, do you have any wins that you would like to share with us since the last time you jumped in?
Yeah, we in the last 2 days we got our orders aren't as big as Vic's, but we got two more 700 piece orders times two, so that
So
makes
that's
us happy.
not for
Mhm.
sure. What kind of printing are you doing for those?
We're just screen printing those. Um,
Oh, okay,
DTG.
one of them's DTG, Michael said, and the other one's screen printing.
okay, that's really good. That's definitely a big win, and I know I'm gonna be helping you guys out more with the website as well.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Michael's
Well,
getting ready and
yeah, that's
ramping
that's
up.
a really good win.
Thank you, Vic.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So the first thing that I wanted to kind of talk about was like when you're educating customers and you can kind of you know we can kind of have like a more what's it called, informal conversation, so there's not that many of us on here, right? So it's kind of like you know explaining the different techniques to your customers, right? Pretty much providing a summary of each printing method, kind of highlighting the differences, the pros and the cons. So, Victor, how do you normally like educate your customers when it comes to like, if you have these situations where it's like they want something, last minute and maybe they're not familiar with the capabilities, how do you normally handle like educating them?
Educating on the timing.
Just in general, like educating them on the process and if what they're asking for is actually, realistic, and just educating on what can actually be done
So on the
just to make
call
sure
that
they're
I
not
had
like,
today, On the call I had today, we're talking like hundreds of pieces, and each of the backs are unique. They could either have the player's number on the front, or it could be a blank back, or it could be the back with the roster, and there's 7 different teams, so we need to have all those rosters ready, so that when they select team A, I know which roster to put on the back. Or it could be the parent that wants the kid's number and their last name going down the back. So these are all options that I allow them to have when they're placing their order. And in the call that I had today, the first thing I say is, when is the tournament? And he says, oh, it's June 13th. Okay, that means you got to have everything in hand by the 12th. And then I start going through my mind, like, am I gonna print everything here? Am I gonna have transfers made for me? What do we have to do sublimation? I start backing it out in my head based on what I know the volume to be and what it takes for me to get it done. And then so basically I said, okay, if you're gonna actually announce on the 18th of May, that's when all the people are gonna know that their kids made All-Stars. I will have the store ready for you that day. So I got 10 days to get all the product up, because that's my development time. And that means not only just building the website, but having the art files created, all sorts of different things. Just so, like when I showed you in my demo, every design has its own number. So I have to assign those numbers to everything. And that way, when the orders come in, it's plug and play, right? Like, oh, it's this number. Okay, that's fine. And then I say, okay, so I'm going to take orders all the way up to the 26th, which is the day before Memorial Day. And so they're going to have a 9-day window to order everything that be guaranteed to be delivered by the 12th. The store will stay open after the 26th. And then they'll have to, they'll buy it and I'll ship it after the event. But up to the 26th, and I had 2 shipping methods in my store. I had a do you want to pay for shipping, or do you want to pick it up at the event? Like an order like this, I would actually tell the customer, on the 12th, I'll meet you at your snack bar and I'll give you all your orders. Each order is individually packaged with the customer's name on it, and then they just distribute it all. But that's basically my timing. I'm like, okay, so I've given myself 2 weeks and 2 days to develop everything. And that includes giving me time to order transfers if I have to do that as well. So, and they're really happy because they get 9 days to just jam in as many orders as they want. And that's what I want. So on the 26th, I'll know what those orders are. If I don't feel like printing them, I'll order the transfers. I'll know which transfers to order because the art will already be organized. And then I'll start bringing in the blanks and organizing everything. And, I'll probably get my transfers in about 3-4 days after that. And and then we've got a week. I got a week to produce it all. And I have to keep in mind, the most important thing is I got to keep doing it while continuing my everyday orders, right? Like those orders still need to be done. So you got to keep that in mind when you do the timing.
Yeah, definitely. So you have a big project going on, and then you also have all your other customers, so you have to service them as well, right?
That's right.
I think for me,
I offer drop shipping for different brands. So those orders come in regularly. They're just rolling in. And so I have to make sure those get done in time. And remember, I only have 2 heat presses, so it's all got to be kind of planned a little bit.
are you looking at increase that output, that heat press output?
This is not even going to be able to touch our maximum. Before I start adding more hardware, I really want to do peak maximum for a long time. You know what I mean? Like I want to be close to breaking it. Little surges like this, we can handle it. It's not a big problem. What we do in Christmas is multiple times what this will be.
Oh, that's good. That's good that you have that Christmas volume. So
Yeah.
do you find yourself having a lot of volume during the holidays?
Yes. So for the holidays, I look and see what my yearly orders were. I know what my most popular designs are, and I'll actually have transfers made of those before the holidays, and that way we're not printing, right? So my goal is to kind of switch it to trying to take the 20% of SKUs that do the most of my business and have transfers ready for those. because then we don't have to, wait to get those done. We can turn them around very quickly because they're ready to go.
Oh, that's really good. I want to ask a follow-up question, but I see Anna, you have your hand up.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. We don't deal with a whole lot of individual orders. We do have a shop, but that is not our primary backbone. We primarily do larger orders for wineries and events. So,
Okay.
as an example, we had a customer that we've done product for the last 3 years for an event, do a logo change, and they wanted, I think it was 300 double-sided shirts done within 4 days. We explained to them, and this is the time when you actually have to go. Or we have 2 machines, which and multiple heat presses. So if we wanted to kill ourselves and work 24 hours, we probably could have done it. But there became a point where we just have to make the decision to either convert them to screen printing, which we can do, or we actually refuse the job. And in this case, we told them it just wasn't possible and explained to them the process behind it. And once they understood the process behind it, they were actually quite agreeable. They understood that time is time. Everything with direct garment is time. And unfortunately, most of our customers don't want transfers. That's something that we are educating them on the newer versions of DTF, but it's slow. Wineries and other events are very resistant. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Anna,
When they don't want screen printing and they do lower volume orders, I always try to tell them like the economic value of doing transfers because of the volume. But yeah, you're right. I would never do 200-300 piece thing on screens. I would do those screen print all the time.
Yeah, we often get
so
we
you
just
would screen
finished
print those versus
we have just gone through a month where we were produced probably one order was 1,000 prints, double-sided, and another order, what was Neotropolis? Probably about the same. And they both had the same deadline. Luckily, one of them was a long-standing customer that we do their event merchandise every year, so we had a head start. But unfortunately, in the process of this, I had a machine go down, and so we had to finish it on one machine. But
so
our average,
shirt, there was direct to garment.
what was that?
For the 1,000 shirts, there was direct to garment.
Yep, because they're
Wow.
full color art, and neither one of them wanted a transfer. I could not convince them to go to transfers. We even sent them samples. So unfortunately, our primary base of our customers are events and wineries. So we do a lot of very large orders, but wineries in particular are really picky. So getting them to transfer over to DTF, they don't understand the differences in old transfers and the new water-based transfers, and they just reject the hand on it. And so we're allowing ourselves, when we quote proper time, to be able to do it direct to garment. For the most part, they're understanding and they get their orders in a timely manner. But that's just a different perspective.
Okay, so for that, you've shown them actual samples of like two of the same graphic, one direct to garment, one direct to film, and then they just don't like the direct to film.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle for us because they will allow us to do a very small, like an arm or something like that, but at that point, or on a bag, but we cannot get them to accept a larger front or back print.
Have they told you what their concern is?
They hate the feel of it. That is the number one complaint. They hate the feel of it. It's too thick. It doesn't breathe.
Are you doing real big front, big chested logos like that?
No, well, they're not usually full. They're not even full coverage. That's the frustrating part about it. If it was a just big block, I would completely understand it. It's like wearing a plastic shield because you have the adhesive and it creates a barrier. But these are open designs, and they still just don't like the look and mostly the feel.
And are they giving away the shirt or are they selling it?
They're selling them.
What I would do is if you wanted to make an investment in it, you should actually do a challenge. Say like, look, I'm going to make you 12 shirts with this style. And let's put it on the rack and see if your customers even notice a difference. If they say anything, what's the customer feedback? And just tell them to do a sample because it's really they think they're protecting their customers, but if their customers don't complain or don't have an issue with it, then that might be your biggest argument there.
Yeah, unfortunately, places like Domain Carneros and these places, they have very set ideas.
Understand it's old
And we make a
tradition.
lot, and they're not willing to test it on their customers. I mean, we're working on some things right now with them for a whole new line, and but they're adamant about not direct to film, which would save us so much work. It's frustrating, but they're good customers. They order from us regularly, so and that's kind of typical of wineries.
I love the Carnetos region wine. So what I'm gonna do next time I go there, you tell me, and I'll walk in, I'll touch the shirts and be like, oh, these are screen printed. I wish they would use the new method, and then I'll walk away.
Well, they're not screen printed. They're direct to garment. That's the frustrating part.
So they won't even go the screen print route?
They will on like only like up to 3 colors, most of them. And we convert them, especially if they're large orders. We'll convert them to screen.
You
But
said they like direct to garment, but they don't like direct to film, right?
yep.
But are you double pressing the direct to film?
Yep.
And
There's no sheen. You almost can't tell the difference looking at them.
that's crazy.
I know. I often think that we have the pickier than average customers, but they are regular customers, so yeah, we pretty much stay within that the parameters. The events are every year, and they order really big. Almost don't do Christmas business because we provide all the merchandise for the Dickens Christmas Fair, which is massive. So yeah.
So, hey, this is Ron. Can you guys hear me?
Hey, Ron. Nice to hear from you.
Hey. Yeah, I am mobile today. I'm actually prepping for one of my largest events coming up this weekend. But I wanted to pop in and say something because if you're doing direct to garment, have you looked at the company called RTP Apparel? Because they are one of the leaders in pre-treated shirts. They are phenomenal. I will use them. I do use them, and they print, I mean, just amazing. So, that could be an option for you to save your time in having to pre-treat because you order these shirts in, they're already pre-treat. Front, back, sleeves, 100% pre-treat, so you can pretty much print anywhere. I would look at them, RTP Apparel. They're out of Ohio. Very good company because they produce a lot of they produce their own brand, the Viper pre-treat machine. So they've got this pre-treat down to a science. So that could be an option for you to look at. So if you can order samples and stuff and try it out, and as long as they got the colors that you need, it should be a slam dunk.
Yeah, we actually have used RTP, and we've also used this last one because it was a new event and it was a shorter turnaround. We used Cheater Teeth, which surprisingly worked out well. We've also used the Sanmar pre-treats, which I wouldn't recommend their core cotton pre-treat shirt, but their tri-blend's pretty amazing. The problem always is palette. Just the color tones. We were able to get a very, very good result on through Cheater Tees, and they did it within less than a week turnaround time. And RPT has a great product. It's just that it doesn't often have the colors that we need. Anyway, that's all. I'm sorry.
No, well, this is good, Anna. This is why we're here. This is real world training, as I like to call it, because it ties into pretty much what the main topic was. Setting the customer expectation, and it's literally like you're hitting those check boxes that I wanted to cover, which is the you've already done like a live demonstration, right? So they felt it. I probably would have given them the samples while they're more mellow. You gave them the samples, but yeah, some like even for us in the fulfillment center, right? We have customers where we just go strictly direct to garment. I like direct to film, but they're like, no, we just want to go direct to garment. That's a preference. And it's like, okay, we'll send out sample kits. You've already done the sample. Definitely the quality comparison. So the only thing I can think of, Anna, is do you give them different pricing? Do you say, hey, if you go direct to film, you're gonna save X percentage, or is it you keep the pricing the same and not really give them a like an incentive to switch? Or Victor, how would you like position something like that if you were in, like in Anna's situation?
Well, I would have them test it on the floor and get feedback from their customers, but they're not willing to do that. It sounds like in this case it's very hard. Obviously price, and I would always just, if they're ordering large orders, and you would screen print that if they want that. DTG on the larger order, I mean, you don't want to raise the price and then have them go elsewhere, but at the same time, whatever you're charging them, hopefully that covers everything and is profitable. But I would give them an option to maybe do things like more colors at a cheaper price and stuff like that, like more colors on the design, because that's definitely an incentive over screen printing. In this case, it sounds like the customer is pretty adamant about what they want, so you're just gonna have to live with them as a customer sometimes.
Well,
There's
they do pay the bills,
That's
and
right.
we do
So,
charge them appropriately. So
oh,
we are
good.
making a good profit on it. And
And
so it's just that I just want, because everybody has different customer types and everything. I just wanted to give a customer type where they're pretty intractable. They know what they want, and they're willing to go anywhere they need to in order to get it.
Yeah.
So,
And if both of you are happy, then don't rock the boat.
yeah.
How much time do you normally give yourself for 1,000 front and back shirts?
For DTG,
Yeah.
about 3 weeks.
Okay, that's a good
Then
amount.
that lets us go at a normal pace, not at a rushed pace.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, definitely, because especially when kind of like what Victor was saying, once you get this spike in production, I found myself in the past, especially when we had different departments like in-house screen printing and direct to garment embroidery and all that stuff, and you get like an influx, then you can if one of the rookie mistakes I would do, in the beginning was like, oh, I have this big order from the big, like, Anna was saying, like this big customer that, pays the bills and give all this customer priority, and maybe, other customers fall through the cracks, or maybe it's, they're having customer service issues with me because I'm the bottleneck. So those are like early on mistakes that I did. And then, I changed my process, it's like, it doesn't matter if you're ordering one shirt or you're ordering 1,000 shirts. I'm gonna, process them all efficiently the same customer service, that kind of stuff. So, Victor, how do you like right now when you have an influx of this order? How do you manage to give everybody the same amount of service and not? Because there's been times where I would get pretty stressed out. I still remember I'd be in the back in the trenches printing, and then I'd hear the phone ring, and I start twitching. It's like I'm super busy, and then it's like hearing the phone ring. So how do you normally handle stuff like that, Victor?
Well, the rolling orders that come in, on the website it says 2 to 3 weeks. But considering for the ones that I don't have blanks for, I usually turn them about a week. So we're over promising, or no, under prom whatever the expression is. We're delivering in a lot faster than what we promised, right? Um, when it comes to these events, I think I've dialed it in enough where I know like all the different pieces and what I need in order to do everything. And so I've been pretty good at that. And you know, I always fix the mistakes that I make when I do make them. So if I try to make those parts of the transaction as least painful as possible, but it's just it's just understanding what our capabilities are, what kind of machine I have, how many people are working, and you know, am I willing to get on the machine when it's not being worked on as well. So I'm always an extra hand. My wife is always an extra hand if I have to, but it just took some time to dial it in. But you know, when I add those extra time windows, that includes the buffer that I don't usually need, but is there in case I do.
No, and that's really good. 2 to 3 weeks. Because when I was doing wholesale printing, I'm like competing in the set like the 5 to 7 day turnaround time, right? But it's like I would have to, really flow stuff out. So that's what, if I can adjust something, it would definitely be, giving yourself plenty of time to turn around stuff. It's kind of like what you were saying, Vic. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be 2 weeks, but I'm gonna try to get it to you sooner. But as of right now, this is what it's looking like because that's one of the things that was one of my like value propositions before was turnaround time. So it's like we're already maxed out on our 5 to 7 day turnaround, especially with direct to garment. I think we had like 10 to 12 direct to garment printers running nonstop. So we would always be able to calculate like the output, and then we would already be maxed out. And here comes another 1 to 2 thousand prints that we needed to not because I had a customer for direct to garment where we would have to do 1,000 prints on a daily basis for direct to garment. So we were kind of maxed out for that, and then plus we're getting screen printing and more. So it's kind of like if I would go back and adjust it, I would do exactly what you're saying. Because like our turnaround time is 2 weeks. We're gonna do our best to get it to you sooner. I see Anna, you have your hand up.
Yeah, actually, though, just as one last note, especially for time with us, DTG isn't our primary income earner. We have been slowly converting these customers over to DTG from water-based screen printing and screen printing uh, because that wasn't the part of the market we had with them. We primarily did embroidery and sublimation. So timing is everything. and we have definitely have seasons. So we are very upfront, especially for these larger customers, that it takes a time. We have given 6 weeks as the amount of time it'll take, but it's usually a larger order or it's more than one type of item. They have embroidery and they have printing. So it's just timing is everything in this. Otherwise, you can shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, definitely. How do you deal with setting those expectations, Anna? Where especially where you're saying that you've sold 6 weeks to a customer. How do they respond to you with that type of turnaround?
It's interesting because most of our customers are aware that it's a seasonal timing. A lot of them will suddenly push, in the spring for all of their summer product. And so one of our customer does what 1,200 tea towels, you know, um, and wants it in a wine club shipment. And after the first one, which we underestimated the time, we still hit the mark, but we extended it out and we explained why. We told them we didn't want to rush production, and it shows in the quality, and they understood that. So now they are on a regular basis, and they order about 2 months out when they actually want it.
No, that's really good. Those are definitely the good customers to have for sure. You know, they're did you have to go through an educational phase with them, or were they already accustomed to maybe working elsewhere and you didn't have to educate them as much? How did you handle the education part of it?
Wineries are almost preconditioned because so much of their processes, getting their labels, doing all their processes, takes longer anyway than the instant gratification. So we haven't had to do that too much with wineries. Um, they seem to get it pretty quickly when we explain that is the process time, and in very practical manners. It's a process time, unlike screen printing, which has a much shorter process time. Embroidery, I think part of it too is that they do a lot of heavily embroidered items, and embroidery always takes longer also. So at least for those, it wasn't that much of an education. Smaller, like nonprofits and other things like that, they are a much larger arc and a much longer process to educate them. And we're just very straightforward about the practicalities of it. And most of the time they really appreciate it. And we've only had, like I said, just recently is the first time we've ever had to say, no, that's not going to work because there's not enough time hours in the day to get that many prints done with what we have. And we actually had them printed somewhere else.
No,
And
that's really good.
which then lost the mark, and they were late for
Oh,
the
wow.
event, and so they didn't get their product anyway.
Anna, do you have like larger print houses that you use to support you when
No,
you have bigger things?
not yet.
Mhm.
Where are you located, Anna?
We're in between. We're just outside of Napa.
Mhm.
Okay, you're not too far from us. Yeah, because we also help our customers, with fulfillment. Aside from selling the equipment, that's one of the
Oh,
additional.
yeah, I've been down to the SoCal facility a number of times.
Okay, yeah. In case you ever find yourself in one of those situations, we can definitely help you out with that.
Cool.
Yeah. So Alma, nice to see you. What kind of win do you have for us since the last time we chatted?
Kind of wins. A ton of I've been really busy doing pretty much vector graphics for a lot of people, so that's what I've been pretty much working on this whole week. I did get the contract for the football team, and I'm just waiting on payment and to get all the stuff back. So I'm excited about that. What else? Other than that and running my nonprofit. So I'm just really, really, really busy. Usually May and June are my busiest months for
Okay.
both the business and my nonprofit.
And then for your customer, the one that you're waiting on the payment, did you tell them no money,
It's through the ASB
no
club.
action? Pay me
It's
first.
it's through the ASB, so I have to wait for payment. I had to pay it up front since it's for the 15th
Okay.
and it's through the school. So I had to submit a W-9 and my information for the school so that I could be registered as a vendor. And so that's really cool because then that means that my name will be on their list.
Yeah, that's definitely a good stepping stone. Definitely good progress. What kind of term did they put you in? Like a net 30, net 60?
No, she said that I should be getting the check this week. So I was hoping it'd be today, but we'll see. We were rushing all the stuff on Friday. Anything that they asked me to complete, I completed and submitted. So she says that I was one of the fastest people to ever, like the one thing they'd ask me and I send it right back. So they registered me as a vendor for the high school.
No, that's definitely really good. Especially like Victor was saying, you under promise, over deliver. If I'm not getting it wrong, right? So you
Yeah.
want to like you brand yourself as like Alma's really good.
Yeah, well, I told them that I'd have it by Thursday. I'm kind of hoping to have it Tuesday, Wednesday. Um, I give a earlier date for the other people the before I give my dates to the people that I'm going to submit it to, just in case. Because last time, yeah, just in case. I'm still looking for more screen printers. I had a little bit of an issue with the one that I was working with, based on price, which kind of really upset me, but it's okay. There's other screen printers that we can go through. So.
Yeah, if I keep mentioning Cole to you.
Well, that's different though, because I wouldn't have been able to get it done that fast. I didn't get approval for the artwork until Saturday, so it's like really cutting it close. I barely got all the garments yesterday. Yeah, it was like really cutting it, like it was just super, super close. But for another one where I actually have my 2 to 3 week turnaround, then I am 100% going to use Cool instead.
Have you reached out to him at all?
Just the email that we sent back and forth. I haven't had anything to quote me on or
Okay.
send it out. I might, for my nonprofit, I might order it. I have to look at the artwork because my artwork is about like 3 or 4 colors. So I'm thinking I might just change some of the stuff around to see if maybe I could just do like 2 colors. I'm not sure yet, but I might, yeah.
Because what was Cole's turnaround time?
I think it was like the 10 days, the 7 to 10 days from the paper that you or the information that you sent us. Because everybody's, I'm like already mixing up all my screen printers, but a lot of them, like 90% of them are like 7 to 10 days. Like even the bigger ones is here 7 to 10 days, but you need to have the artwork ready to go. It's not like you can be like, oh, I want to get this done, and then be like, oh, I still have to do the artwork. I mean, I could do the separations, but in the end, it's just easier just to send the artwork and then they separate what they need to separate, put the registration marks and everything. So that's how I've been doing it with Pedro, but I struggle a little bit with with trusting people, and with this small of a deadline, I would prefer to have them closer because I wouldn't want to miss the deadline. The football team leaves on the 17th, and that's it. Like they're gone.
So when do you need to turn in this order that you're talking about?
I told them the 16th. So, but I told my screen printer the 14th, 15th. So it's like super, super tight. But the artwork was already sent in, so the screens can be made.
Okay. Yeah, that's always good, give yourself an extra couple of days from what you tell the screen printer.
Well, yeah, because last time he messed up 4 sweaters, and it was the day of the event, and I had to drive to go get them, and then my son had a track meet that day too, so it was just really stressful. And so I gave myself extra time this time around.
And out of how many sweaters did he ruin for? Like, what was the total quantity?
So it was 48, and it was 3 designs. So 48 each design, so it's like 50, 50, 150. So like maybe like 140 something.
Okay, and it was like 4 of them.
Yeah, we agreed it was a high error.
That's kind of a high. And is he?
And so the main thing that really upset me was that he didn't tell me that they were ruined.
Oh, okay. That's in the industry. That's called the sandwich.
And I check everything. So it's like, it was my first time around, and everything, and I better believe that I checked everything because it was my first time around and I saw them. And that was one of the biggest issues that I was like, I wouldn't have been mad if you messed them up. I wouldn't have been upset. You told me, hey, I messed up 4 of them, whatever. Then when I opened everything up, I mean, I was already there, and I opened everything up and I started checking the sizes, making sure all the stuff was there. Then I saw them, and that's mainly what was just like, I don't really trust you. Because I mean, a lot of places have done that. They've done that to the city. That's why the city wants to switch. They've done that to Pacific Flips, which is one of our gymnastics teams. And because I used to order stuff for different places, it used to piss me off. So, you're like checking everything and you're like, wait a minute, like, why is this ruined? And so that was one of the biggest red flags that I'm still looking for somebody that I really, really trust. But my next one, I'm gonna try your guy. So
Yeah, because he does printing for like, he did the printing for like, I think it was like not Mission Impossible, but the new Tom Cruise movie. So he does a lot of high end printing, right?
And so does the guy images here, but like the guy here, I kind of just not the one I've used, but the one that was asking me a million and one questions about my life.
Uh,
That one.
uh,
He does a lot of things for movies, and he's done for Star Wars and prints for some production companies that we had here. So it was just his vibe that I didn't like.
no, because trust is a big one, with your vendors
For
because
me, yes, because I don't want people coming and saying, "Hey, Soul Flowers doesn't do quality work. They ruin things or they stick mistakes inside their boxes and doesn't own up to the mistakes, things like that."
yeah, for sure. That's why I always recommend having 2 to 3 solid vendors, not just 2 to 3 whatever vendors, but like solid vendors because when we were doing a lot of the wholesale printing, like when we were doing printing for like let's say Google, right? The 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 marketing agency that would ship us all the stuff, we would do it for Google and ship it straight to Google headquarters, depending on what location, right? We had a good reputation. They trusted us. It's not like we were gonna screw them up. Like that's what's in the industry, the sandwich, right? You're gonna sandwich them in the middle. Um, so we were pretty good with that. So trust is definitely a big one. Trust is definitely a big thing, Alma. So once you dealt with that, what was his reaction and what did he do? Because that seems like very that would seem very awkward.
I called them and I said, "Hey, there's 4 sweaters that are ruined," and I took a picture and I sent it to him. And then he said, "What sizes are they?" And I gave him the sizes. And I said, "Do you need me to overnight or send them to you?" And he said, "No, don't worry about it. I'll get them overnighted and I'll have them ready for you tomorrow."
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought you had checked them
Well, if I wouldn't have checked
at his
them, if
location.
I
You
wouldn't have
picked them up
checked
and
them,
he checked them at your place.
if I wouldn't have checked them here before I took the stuff to the event, that would have been very embarrassing.
No, I would have for sure. Yeah, because checking is always good. That's part of a good operation is quality control, right? Because I always knew, like for us, if a customer got something that wasn't good, that's because 3 or 4 different people failed to do their job. One of them is like, was the art correct? Then it's like, okay, we ordered the goods. Did whoever sorted the goods, did it match the actual order? When it went to printing, did they say, okay, it says a black small shirt, am I, matching it up? Then, that person might make a mistake. Then the final stage is, quality control before it gets packaged is like, are they making sure that it matches what? So it's like if the customer gets the wrong size or something wrong, it's like, when we received it, it matched, they missed. When we printed it, they missed. The QC missed. So it's a bunch of hands that miss. So you definitely want to, especially when you're doing screen printing, right? Literally, when you're doing screen printing, the people that are the ones catching, they're called the catchers or however you want to call them, right? As they're coming out of the conveyor belt, they're mainly the QC people, because one is a screen print automatic operator, right? Because they're loading and unloading the shirts, right? So the person that's unloading the automatic press, they're checking it, throwing it to the oven. Then the people that are catching it, they're literally grabbing them, checking them, stacking them, right? Because when you're running an automatic, like I say for us, they had like 10, they had 12 stations, 10 colors. Let's say if you're loading shirts, and this is the bad thing about screen printing, you have a big press, right? If something's off with one of your screens, it can literally spin around 8 times, 10 times before you come. You're like, oh man, I mean, everyone in that circle automatically messed up for whatever reason. So, and it's part of the process, right? But you have to have that good quality control, or else your customers, they're not gonna want to deal with you. We did a lot of printing for Mike Tyson, and they were very, and different companies, and that was the biggest thing is trust. Because it's like, you know, if they don't like, because there's obviously the turnaround time, the the customer service, the quality. But if you're not trustworthy, then it's like it doesn't matter how good you are and everything else, because they're gonna be like, man, if I send them a new order, maybe it's gonna be screwed up again. Then I have to like drive there, ship it to me, check it. So now you're like, you're a little paranoid. So that's why, um, is this the vendor that also charged you on the higher side, Elma? Okay, so it's like strike one, strike two, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna send anything else to him. Unfortunately. I mean, he's a nice guy. I I do business with people that are honest and their integrity is important to me. And if that's not there, then it's okay. They can have their business and they can do their business with
Yeah,
whoever. But my customers, I mean, it's so hard to get the customers, and then to
it
have
is.
them long term, to lose them over something like that.
And especially if they're a contract printer, they should understand. Like what you just said is one of the most valid points. Is that it's very hard to get a customer and keep a customer happy. And it's like, you could some customers they'll be flexible. Like you make a mistake, it's like okay, everybody makes mistakes. But if it's like you're consistently making the same mistake or whatever mistake you made, it's obvious that you're trying to cover it up,
Mhm.
right? Then that
That's
makes that
obvious. I mean, to stick them in there and be like, oh, maybe
that
she.
makes you yeah, that makes you look worse.
I was like, and I was asking my son, I'm like, but do you, like I sometimes overthink things. I've worked on that all my life. And so I'm like, do you think I'm being like like exaggerating? Like he should have told me, right, that he messed them up. Or I mean, and if he didn't know it, I mean, unless he has somebody working with him and he had somebody else pressing them and that person didn't say anything. But when I mentioned it, they're like, "Oh yeah, the screen slipped," and I'm like, "Well, did they tell you that the screen slipped, or were you doing it? You saw the screen slip, and I mean, because I've done it before too, where the screen slips, and it sucks because you're just like, oh, and you just gotta throw it away because you're if you're doing the white, or even if you're doing a double flash, like the color and then flash and then color on top, and if the screen slips, like that's it, it's done. You gotta throw it away. And so that's the worst,
Mhm.
especially when you have the exact amount of garments. But I mean, for the hoodies, yeah, they're like $10, but that's like $40 in hoodie.
Mhm.
For a lifetime person that I would have continued to go to him forever if I would have been treated correctly,
Mhm.
I would have stayed loyal to him, but not after that. I mean, I it's not like I'm not a person that's in the screen print world. I've done screen printing before. I've
Yeah.
screen stuff all the time, where where the screen slips or you accidentally put the screen down and the thing wasn't cooled down all the way, so now your your screen's like melting, that kind of stuff. And so I get it, and it was just not cool. Like I would have said something.
Well, thanks for sharing, Alma. That's definitely, a biggie. It's always good to go through that as well, because that, gets you to learn, different things. And it's good to learn on just four hoodies versus learning on a whole order, right? That would have gone to your customer, you would have looked bad. Because we've all been there, but it's like how do you handle it is what's gonna make the difference. And then it's already past 3 o'clock. Mauricio's already sending me a shock. My chair is vibrating. So I appreciate you guys for joining as always. Mr. Victor Rubio, Alma, Michael, Ron, Charlie, everybody that Anna, everybody that shows up and participates. I always appreciate you guys. Without you guys, it would just be me trying to get Mauricio to talk, and as you guys can see, he's not a real good talker. Well, I appreciate you guys for joining, and you guys have a good one. Bye.
All right, everybody have a good evening. See y'all next week.